Welcome back to another video where I've watched a trailer and you've presumably also watched that trailer. Then I tell you things about the things that I saw in the trailer and you say, yeah, but I already knew most of the things that you said. And then I say, well, what do you want from me? And then you say, maybe you could put in more effort. And then I say, well, I'm tired, so no. Anyways, this time around, it's for Shang-Chi, Marvel's first foray into the martial arts genre, excluding all the things in Netflix, and how everybody in the Avengers appears to know Kung Fu. I know some of you are probably thinking, James, this isn't even Kung Fu. You don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything about martial arts. But if you do have opinions on martial arts, why don't you gently whisper it into the weird muscular nape of Joe Rogan's neck? Oh, look at you. This is how close you want to get to Joe Rogan. You love him so much. Anyways, we're going to be getting into the origins of the character, his powers, the storyline, the villain of the movie, including the Mandarin. We're getting the Mandarin probably this time, I think. His powers, specifically what the 10 rings do, other characters that are going to show up, the time period, cinematography, and more. Time codes below if you do want to skip ahead or around. But other than that, let's all leave a like on this video and carry on. Right, in terms of the origin of this character, and of course it has changed over the decades. Initially, he was raised by a criminal mastermind by the name of Fu Manchu. No, I did not misspeak, that is his name. That will be one of the many things that they have changed from the original comic, including the bowl cut. Anyways, this guy, he raises his son, to be his heir, to be a great assassin and warrior and all those things. So he sends him out in the world and he goes, I want you to kill my enemy. I want you to kill this guy. He sucks. And Shang-Chi is like, hells yeah, I'll do that. And he goes, bam, he karate chops this dude, he's dead. But then he realizes, oh no, this man was a nice man that I killed. And my father, it is he that is evil. So I've decided that I'm going to do punches and kicks for good. Now this version, in mixing things up a bit, his father appears to have sent him off in the world to give him 10 years of his own. It could also be that he escaped for 10 years and that he thought he was hiding, but his father's like, I see you, I know what you're doing. I'm giving you 10 years. And it's at this point in time he wants him to come back and rule by his side. And of course, this leads into conflict. In the trailer, we see that they're going to have a bit of a punch-up. In this moment, we do see a brief glimpse at the Shang-Chi costume, which we see in the poster. And in some sequences, we see him wearing this green pendant. Whoa, what's that about? Hopefully somebody will point an arrow to it in a thumbnail. Maybe I've done it. It's crazy the way things pan out. Now, in terms of his powers, he's got a few things going on. Simu Liu, who plays him, is obviously very adept at martial arts. You might have seen that test footage that went around in like December of last year. But yeah, so this guy's a master of Kung Fu, but also other weapons and, Chi and shit like that. But he also has the power of duplication, which essentially means that if he's in a fight, he can send out multiple versions of himself, so he can hit you multiple times. If you're on the other end of that, you're like, oh no, there's too many. Oh, big punch so much. Now, as mentioned, we have seen martial arts before in the Marvel Universe. The Netflix series in particular had a focus on Iron Fist, but he was somewhat lacking in his martial arts abilities. I think that came down to time constraints and things like that. You can't just grab anybody and be like, hey, do martial arts on camera. It's hard, probably. But we do see some similarities between these characters. For one, their training involves being hit with sticks. Now, the story this time around, though we don't get a lot of this in the trailer, though there are hints at it, apparently there's going to be a Mortal Kombat style event centered around the 10 rings. Whether that be you get the 10 rings, whether you get one of the 10 rings, whether you just get to look at the 10 rings and go, wow, pretty good. But this is rumored to include a bunch of Marvel characters, mostly minor, one of which we may have seen before, which I don't want to spoil here. You know what? I'm going to say it. If you don't want to know, mute it. When the screen returns from black, the spoiler is over. 3, 2, 1. Baron Mordo. Remember that dude? He might need the rings to get rid of magic because he hates magic, that dude. Anyways, okay, we're back. But yeah, so it's going to include a number of minor characters, some of which we see in the trailer, including Razor Fist, who you might know as Ivan Drago's son from Creed 2. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's peddled out with various powers for this tournament. Now, the Mandarin. We're going to talk about the Mandarin with this MCU version. It appears as if Shang-Chi's father is not Dr. Fu Manchu, but the Mandarin who we didn't see in Iron Man 3, but remember that? There was you probably remember this. Ben Kingsley turned out to be a fake Mandarin.
Bloody hell, bloody hell.
And then they went, oh no, the real Mandarin's Guy Pearce, I think.
I
am the Mandarin!
And then in another Marvel short one-shot thing, they went, no, there was neither of those things. There's actually a real Mandarin, and we'll get to it. And this is them getting to it, I guess. So yeah, it appears as if this guy's long-lived, because we do get some flashbacks. Let's talk about the time period here, actually. We see what appears to be an ancient battle at one point, though it could be modern day, who knows. We see a moment where the Mandarin is fighting a woman among the bamboo. I do wonder whether this is a flashback to the relationship between Shang-Chi's parents. And we also get a big fight scene, which reminds me a bit, or a few people, because I've seen these comments, it seems a bit like the battle sequence from Black Panther. Looks a little more polished than that at this point, as it should be, because this movie has been delayed like a year, maybe more, maybe less, but it's definitely been delayed. Anyway, back to the Mandarin. So his powers are centered around the 10 rings. This version, though, has been changed because traditionally they're rings that you wear on your fingers, but I think off the back of the Infinity Stones and the Gauntlet, they went, we can't just do another big kind of glove situation. So they've turned them into bracelets, which I think is a really good idea. So they're alien technology. They do a bunch of different stuff. So here we go. I'm going to go through them. Matter rearranging. That means it can change like regular air to poison gas, or your clothing to slightly different clothing, stuff like that. There's an impact beam, speaks for itself. There's a vortex beam, which is like wind and shit. There's a disintegration beam, the name of which is also the explanation. There's a black light ring, which means you can create an instant darkness and also check hotel rooms for unsightly stains. There's the white light ring, which creates light and also manipulates gravity, and you can also do image projection, so like holograms of you and stuff, I presume. There's a flame ring. There's a mento intensifying ring, where you can mentally manipulate people with like hallucinations and mind control stuff. There's electro blast, which lightning, and there's an ice blast, which is like the electro blast, but it shoots ice. Probably. That being said, they might do some or none of these. You only get kind of glimpses of it in the trailer, and it mostly appears to be the Mandarin punching stuff with a big purple punch. I hope they kind of branch out a bit and see various powers, but whatever, quite frankly. Now, the Mandarin appears to be quite long-lived. We seem to be getting some flashbacks. He might be long-lived because of matter rearranging. Perhaps he can kind of change his body on a subatomic level to keep youthful. I don't know. They'll explain it in the movie, probably. We also see he's got a hench person called a death dealer. I don't know who's playing this character. There could be a man under there, or a woman, or a ghost, or a bear. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy reveal. Or we won't see any of that, because who cares, I guess. I also want to talk about the supporting cast. We get Awkwafina, who we might have recently seen, you might have recently seen in Raya and the Last Dragon. And speaking of Disney, there's a moment where they're singing karaoke together. And we see this line in the background, which of course means they're probably singing A Whole New World from the movie Aladdin, and also the live-action reboot, Aladdin.
Sometimes you just have to take a risk.
Another person I want to mention is Ronnie Cheng. This guy's incredible. I saw him perform for the first time like 10 years ago. I'd never heard of him. Amazing. Also, by all accounts, a very nice guy. He's got a stand-up special on Netflix also, if you do want to check it out. So yeah, Ronnie Cheng. Great inclusion. He was also recently in that new Godzilla movie. Now, here's something I want to talk about just quickly. I saw this from Eric Davis on Twitter, and it's in relation to the cinematography, and I think it's worth a mention. I'm mentioning it. So Bill Pope is the cinematographer on this film. This is Pope's first MCU movie, but not his first Marvel movie. He also shot Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, as well as The Matrix, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Alita Battle Angel, among many, many more. And what I think is interesting about this film, or this trailer in particular, is one of the criticisms of the Marvel movies, and I guess TV shows now, is there is kind of a uniform look to them, the way they're shot, the way they feel, the color gradient. And this to me, if I didn't know this is a Marvel film, it doesn't seem to lean on any of that. There's some beautiful stuff in this, and only just glimpses also. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to go all out. It could end up being quite spectacular. Or, it's just going to be fine, like a lot of movies are, I guess. But no, I'm genuinely looking forward to this. Comes out September. There's no day and date Disney Plus streaming thing announced like they're doing with Black Widow. And I'd imagine by then that's just not going to be the case. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you think below. You got any questions? You got any theories? I bet you got some wild ideas about that green pendant thing. I bet you're like, oh my God, I got such a good idea about that. Or, oh my God, you idiot, it's a really popular thing from the comics. And I know that. I just chose not to include it because I thought it would be an opportunity for you watching this to really shine in the comments below. But yeah, some people have also asked what's happening with Caravan of Garbage this week, because of course that normally comes out on Tuesday. That is being moved to Thursday. That being said, if you do want to see it early, it's going to go up on Wednesday. I've named a lot of days there. I hope you're keeping up at bigsandwich.co. They always go up early there if you do want to check them out. There's a bunch of other stuff there if you do sign up, including movie commentaries, bonus podcasts, our regular podcast, The Weekly Planet, which normally comes out Monday, comes out Sunday there. So there you go. I'm off to do something different because I was forced to edit this video. I don't really edit that much anymore, and I had to do it in a really quick time frame. So that's why you're probably thinking this isn't a very good edit. Well, hey, I had to do it in a really short amount of time. So why don't you just say, James, this is actually a really good edit. You've done an excellent job. And you know what? You are a good father and husband. You're what we all aspire to be. If you could say something like that, that'd be great. Okay, goodbye. Thanks for watching. All right, you're great. See you later.